Welcome to Performance Matters, the podcast where we explore the ideas, innovation, and people shaping the future of learning and development. I'm your host, Michael Thiel. Today, we're resuming our special edition series called Future Focus, AI news for L&D, because let's face it, AI isn't just knocking on the door anymore. It's already in the room, rearranging the furniture. So here's a question to get us started. If AI can build a marketing campaign from scratch, what's stopping it from designing your next training program? Stick around. By the end of the show, you'll have several definitive answers, and I think quite a bit of hope. Joining me today are two of my brilliant GP colleagues who are not only passionate about the future of learning, but are actively shaping it. First up, and hailing from Shrewsbury, England, is GP Learning Experience Consultant Paul Andrews. Paul, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you, and thank you for inviting me on. I'm really excited to be here and talk about all things AI.
I am so excited about it. Now, just for those that are not familiar with Paul, he's a seasoned transformation leader with a career that spans strategy, operations, and digital innovation. He's currently focused on enabling global performance through capability building and organizational design. We're glad to have him here. We're going to put him through his paces. And Paul's not alone. Alongside him, hailing from the Mediterranean paradise of Cyprus, is a longtime friend of the show, innovation learning consultant Theodora Michaelidou, Theo to most of us. Theo, welcome. How are you?
Feeling great. Thank you, Michael.
Okay, both of you, I hope you have your future focus AI goggles on because I'm going to put you through your paces. Are you ready?
Yep, let's do it.
Okay, let's do it. Okay, let's kick things off with a question that's been on my mind and maybe yours too. We all know traditional browsers like Chrome now integrate tools like Gemini to help us search smarter. But lately, we've seen the rise of a new kind of tool, AI browsers like OpenAI's Atlas and Perplexity's Comet. Here's the big question. What exactly is an AI browser? And how does it differ from the traditional browsers we've been using for years? So Paul, let's start this off with you. Can you just break down what makes an AI browser unique and why it matters for how we learn and work?
It's a really good question. Okay, so essentially there are currently three different types of browsers currently kind of doing the rounds. The first type is your traditional browser, and that's what people have been using since the dawn of Netscape Navigator, way back in the misty times of the mid-90s, if you're old enough to remember. I am.
Yes. Oh, that was my first one in 95, my senior year of college. We finally got a browser. I was so excited.
That's it. So, navigating GeoCities and all that kind of stuff with them. So they're still around, and that's absolutely fine. But then you can also get add-ons for those browsers. So we're thinking things like Chrome, Firefox, Opera. You can add in AI functionality to that, but it's very much like a bolt-on. So you might be browsing the web, but it's in a sidebar, and you can then say, to it, oh, hey, can you look at this web page for me that I'm currently on? And it might solve some problems, do some research for you, things like that. Really handy, really good at time saving. The new browsers, though, these Agentic AI browsers, basically what they allow you to do is also, and again, if you're old enough to remember Knight Rider, okay, the difference between these new browsers are like Kit. Essentially, you can say, hey, I want to drive there, and it'll go, no problem, turbo pursuit mode, let's go, and it'll do it all for you. The steering, turbo pursuit mode, everything. So you can essentially have these browsers doing all the work for you, and they'll even move the mouse across the screen for you as if you were doing it for yourself. So you can make a cup of tea. I'm from the UK. Make a cup of tea, it's the law, and then have it do some research for you, which is really good. Or what other people are using for out of business, it can do things like your shopping for you. So you can give it a shopping list and say, I'm going to point at a website that I use, a supermarket website, go and fill my shopping cart up, and it'll do that and do the payment. Basically, just hands-free browsing. That's the main difference. It's almost like someone said, step aside, I've got this, and it'll do it for you.
I'm so excited, first of all, on the grocery side of things, Paul, but break this down. Paint me a picture of a day in the life of work. Give me an example of how this might benefit me functionally here.
Sure. So a lot of what we do will involve a lot of desk-based research, essentially. Sometimes that'll be doing some research looking for ideas, inspiration. Sometimes it will be we'll have clients that say, okay, we want a learning design module on XYZ, but they don't necessarily have all of that information they can give to us. So at the moment, what happens is a human being will sit down and go, okay, I'm going to do some research. 5 years ago, it would have been desk-based research, and they would have been clicking on all the links and doing all the research, visiting to the websites. Within the last few years, you've been able to say to things like Copilot, ChatGPT, please can you search the internet for me and summarize this information and give me it. But there's still a degree of typing and looking around. With these new ones, you can actually say to it, I want you to go and do some research, and it will basically drive the whole website. So it won't just run off and bring you the information back. It will interact with those websites in a meaningful way, as you would if you were a human sitting in front of it. So it's just another level of convenience and automation.
It's awesome. Paul, that's a great breakdown. Now, Theo, you're coming in. I am painting you today as our true learning professional. That's your lens and challenge. So what's your take on this? From your experience, how do you see these AI browsers influencing the way we design and deliver learning experiences?
So Michael would say that AI browsers are really a game changer, but they also raise big concerns and questions for learning. Like if you think that now a web browser can complete an e-learning course by simply giving it a prompt like use browser to complete assignment and it's done. Like that means that we have to rethink how we design learning experience. And that's not just to prevent those like automatical completions, but also to leverage the power of these tools like for deeper engagement. And like if I take an example from schools, it's like when a professor is asking students to do an assignment, and instead of telling them like, you shouldn't be using AI for your assignment, they tell them like, use AI to complete your assignment and then come back to class so that we can discuss the assignment together, like the outputs, focusing both on like whether the tech was used right, but also on those like higher cognitive skills like critical thinking. So I would say same applies with those AI browsers. So as assistants and as autonomous partners, I think they can really support personalized learning at scale and help learners interact with the content real time. For example, like you might be reading something and you can ask your browser to can you give me like some real world examples on this? Or like, can you quiz me on this? And you're really doing it like real time. So it's really amazing.
It's just amazing thinking about that, where you can, like you said, you can shift people that higher level of Bloom's taxonomy and really start firing those critical thinking skills, get away from just basic recall, right?
Exactly. And since like the way we learn is changing, that means that the way we design for learning will need to change as well. And like when we design, we have to take into consideration those skills, like those powers of tools like AI browsers, and trying to focus more on like encouraging exploration, critical thinking, and application. Because I think these are the skills that will be in high demand in the future.
Yeah, this is really great. What I'm hearing from you both is we're unlocking new opportunities. Instead of just fighting it, I'm hearing be aware of the risks, but really reimagine what it means, not only, as Paul, you were talking about, just the flow of work, but how we apply and leverage that when it comes to design. So this is super fascinating. It's clear to me, AI browsers, they're clearly reshaping how we learn. But I want to shift us to our second topic, and that is really a bigger question. So Paul and Theo, let's just zoom out for a moment here. I know there's been a lot of buzz, a lot of investment, and really a whole lot of hype around AI. So really, I'm going to play devil's advocate here. Are we potentially in the middle of an AI bubble? And if so, what does that mean for L&D leaders in what they should be thinking about in terms of long-term strategy? So Paul, zoom us out here. Think about this. Help us just make sense of this. What's your take on it?
They say those that don't study history are doomed to repeat it. This looks an awful lot like the previous kind of boom and bust we've had before. I'm thinking the dot-com bubble, where you have companies whose value was inflated by the fact they just had a dot-com. until everyone realized that the emperor had no clothes. And then all of a sudden, these companies' valuations went flat. So at the moment, people who are obviously more well-versed in finance than I am are basically kind of like sounding the alarm that you have companies like NVIDIA who are investing. They're giving money essentially to these other AI companies who then take that money and go, hey, look, we've got some money. But then they use that money to invest back into NVIDIA again. And NVIDIA go, hey, look, we've got some investment as well. So you've got this circular thing. So you've got no new money's coming in, but everyone's saying how great it is. So that's basically the heart of it. And again, you can look online to see people have kind of mapped out the investments between all these companies, and it does look like a spider's web. Everything is circular. So there is a real concern at the moment that whilst AI is an undeniably fantastic tool, perhaps some of the valuations of these companies are a little bit on the high side. And the real winners of that are people who had those stocks and shares when the stocks were low, the NVIDIA people. So it might be a way of those companies artificially inflating their share value. What you will find is, I reckon, probably certainly by 2027, next year's going to be very telling if people start selling off their stocks in these companies. It's already started to happen. A big investment firm, I think it was yesterday at the date of recording or the day before, started to shed some of their stocks. So it's worth watching. But what does it actually mean? Because most of it's like, for us, it's kind of like monopoly money. It doesn't really exist. But what
right.
Yeah. What does it practically mean on the ground? Well, really what it means is if you are looking at L&D, it's really about saying, well, don't chase the hype. AI tools are fantastic. There's this wonderful term in learning and development called technocentricity. It's the belief that the presence of the technology itself is somehow going to help things. And we've seen it with interactive whiteboards, websites, iPads was the other big one about 14, 15 years ago.
Yes.
So the same thing now, and in businesses, I remember businesses, WordPress was the buzzword. You go to these conventions and everyone wants a WordPress. Where do you want one? Well, because my competitor's got one. Okay. So it's about choosing the right tool. And if a tool is beneficial for you and it's going to help your workflow, fantastic. But it's looking at that value proposition and value-driven innovation rather than just saying, we've got AI for the sake of it. Because I don't know about you, you go online now or you listen to any adverts, and it's AI. Everything's got AI in it, even if you don't need it. Like, we've got toilet paper, but we added AI. It's like, would you need this?
AI designed.
Yeah, exactly. So it's about looking at it and going, okay, well, what's actually going to help us in our business and our customers effectively? And to do that, really, you want to start with your business outcomes and then pilot those AI tools and see if it really does help people, and talk to the staff who are using it, because they'll be very honest and they'll say, yes, this helps me, or doesn't. A lot of the time, I think people who are maybe higher up the food chain will assume, well, we've invested in all this AI, it's going to save us lots of money. But the people on the ground who, dare I say it, are doing the actual work may tell a slightly different story. So it's about having pilots and then getting that real honest feedback to make sure that you're not buying into something and making the mistakes of, again, what several companies have done already, let go of their staff believing the AI would help, and then the AI doesn't help, and then they have to say to people, please come back. And that's not a good experience for anybody. So it's about trying to avoid that situation and making sure you're using AI. At GP Strategies, we always have this saying of it's Human+AI, and the human comes first. And that's the main thing. It's just another tool. But if you're going to use a tool, you've got to pick the right one. If you try and eat soup with a fork, yeah, you'll get there, but it'll take a long time.
I love it, Paul. Thank you for breaking this down. I've got to say this, from what you're saying, both at the market level, but also at the job level, I'm super excited. I'm not ready to put my cash in the mattress yet, but I'm also kind of a little terrified. I'm a little terrified at what I'm hearing here. So on both sides, there's kind of that mix of uneasiness, though. So Theo, let me ask you this. In terms of what Paul mentioned about not chasing the hype, and I love hearing that, and instead focusing on substance, putting on your L&D lens here, what are a few consideration points for our professionals out there in L&D land?
So as an L&D professional, and looking at things from my perspective here, we should be focusing on like building resilience through skills and not tools. And that's something actually that Paul talked about earlier, because tools might change, but skills endure over time. So focus on things like AI literacy, problem solving, adaptability, so that individuals in an organization can succeed regardless of like what tool they're using or what technology. So that would be the first one. And then another thing that I think is really important is to prepare our workforce for that Human+AI collaboration that also Paul talked about. Because like AI will not be there just to automate tasks. It will become part of the team and it will reshape jobs, and it's already changing the way we work. So as an L&D team, we need to prepare people for this collaboration and potentially for these emerging new roles, I would say.
Yeah. And, you know, in reflection, I know the three of us did some back channel chatting in preparation for this. And Paul, you were saying, hey, by the time this comes out, maybe the news might have even changed on AI, right? Who knows? Yeah. But the point is, if you got those evergreen skills going, you can adapt and flex. Fair enough?
I would say so. Yeah. And that really that's the fundamental difference between education and training. You need an education in AI, not training in AI. Mm-hmm. If you train to use one tool, the user interface changes, you might go, oh, it looks different. But if you've got an education, then you've got the critical thinking, transferable skills. You can apply everything you did before to the new product, the new version. In the same way people move from like Skype, say, to Microsoft Teams and perhaps to Discord outside of work. It's all the same sort of thing, but different user interfaces.
Yeah. Okay. So whether we're in an AI bubble or not, one thing's clear. We know AI, it's making waves on how organizations communicate. And as you mentioned, Theo, the skills that they need to survive and thrive. So a case in point in my mind, and just looking at the news and prep for this, I've read that Meta and other platforms, they're rolling out full-blown AI-generated marketing campaigns. So Theo, I know you've been exploring how this kind of modular AI orchestrated design could apply to learning. So my question to you is, could this be a moment where marketing and L&D start borrowing more from each other? So what do these campaigns, from your perspective, tell us about the future of personalized, scalable learning?
So I would start by saying that traditionally learning has been borrowing ideas and inspiration from other fields, including marketing. So things like learner personas, storytelling, marketing campaigns for new initiatives, they're all marketing inspired. So why not now? So AI-driven marketing campaigns show a great example for L&D to follow, like with the modular content, intelligent orchestration, and data-driven personalization. Just as marketers segment audiences and automate delivery for relevance at scale, like learning teams can adopt that atomic design principles, like to break content into like reusable microassets, and then leverage AI to dynamically create personalized pathways based on the learner roles, behaviors, and goals. And that helps make learning more relevant, more personal, and more effective. And Matt Donovan has a great article on this atomic design approach. So if you haven't seen it yet, I highly encourage you to take a look.
Yeah, and I will cross promote. We also cut a podcast a couple sessions ago with Matt about this whole idea of atomic design. And I got to say, it quite frankly blew my mind about the possibilities here. So many great points on that side there. Paul, what are your thoughts about this in terms of what you're hearing from Theo? I'm sure you've got some point of view here.
Absolutely. I mean, Theo's spot on what she's saying. I think it's when we're doing learning design, I mean, obviously anyone who's listened to this who has a background in education will know the importance of differentiation. What the AI will allow us to do, or allows us to do now, will be to dynamically differentiate and remix and reuse content on the fly. So at the moment, you might have a learning module that says, hey, what's your role? And you say, well, I am this role. And then it's got a predefined path that's been designed by the learning designers. What we're anticipating is for that to be truly organic. So it's able to say, what are you? And then it's able to pull from a bank of content. And much like video games will do at the moment, they will dynamically adjust how things are according to how you're playing them. Well, the same thing can apply for learning, because it's the same technology. It's the same thing. So it will look at how you're doing and go, okay, well, they're getting this right, but they're getting this wrong. So I'm going to pull this in organically, but it's bespoke to that learner. The other thing we're anticipating with that is again, a step above that, is to have, again, drawing from the world of video games, where you can have characters, avatars, non-player characters, that can communicate effectively with the player. We're now looking at how we can have AI subject matter experts that have, in the background, they've been trained or they're pulling from existing client content, but they can then dynamically respond to the learner based on the content that's provided from the client. So it's not pulling it from kind of anywhere on the internet. It's all content approved by the client. But it can actually say, okay, I can see you're struggling with this topic. Do you want to have a conversation? Let me help you. So it'll pull them to one side. Whereas at the moment, or traditionally, that's been very, very difficult to do because of all the permutations and combinations that you could have for where the learners are. So absolutely, I think Theo's spot on with what she's saying. It's all about that differentiation, personalization, and customization.
Yeah, well, let me ask you too about this, because, when I'm not hosting the podcast and I take off the suit and the crazy persona, I help design coaching content for retail experience coaches in North America here. And, one of the things I hear from clients a lot is, hey, I've got this big body of training that we've developed and we've paid for, but sometimes people just have questions, right? They just have a question. Do we even have the potential to have like just-in-time subject matter expertise with this world?
I think this is already possible, like as we said, like with the AI browsers, with different chatbots, AI tools like that. Like by feeding your content into that AI tool, you have the possibility to interact with your content real life. And basically the chatbot becomes like your subject matter expert. Of course, like always, you need to like validate the outputs, double check that what you get is correct. So we have the Human+AI, but it certainly gives you like a head start.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, Paul, you had mentioned something about NPCs. Remind me, what's that stand for, NPC?
So NPC stands for non-player characters. Again, it comes from the world of gaming, but essentially all it means is it is a character that you see on the screen that interacts with you in some way, shape or form. So again, these have been around for anyone who's ever done any training where there's a picture of someone on the screen and it might say, what do you want to say to this? It's like a simulation or a role play. What do you want to say to this person? That's it. Yeah, all those, you've seen the posters. And it's always the same people that crop up. It's like, I've seen you in the last training, but you're here again. With they've got more jobs than, I don't know if you have Peppa Pig over in the States, but they've got more job roles.
Of course,
than
love
Rabbit.
Peppa Pig.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the training equivalent of Mrs. Rabbit. It's the same person in several different roles across multiple years. So we have those people. But what this would allow us to do now is have them respond in a more lifelike way. So rather than everything being pre-programmed, if you like, predetermined or on a set path, it means it can go organically and respond to that learner. And what I would imagine is going to happen, particularly with younger people coming into the workforce, will have an expectation of this functionality because they will have experienced. Again, in schools and colleges, universities, they're using ChatGPT and other AI tools all the time. And as they use it more, their version of that AI gets to know them. So it gives them personalized responses. So there's going to be an expectation. And I think that certainly GP strategies will be in a position to meet that expectation because we already have a tool that could do this. It's called Content IQ. We can do it right now. We have chatbots that we can actually load up with the client's content and it will have a conversation with you. But what we're saying is the next step would be, rather than it being text-based, is have that powered at an on-screen person or something. So it's the level of engagement and immersion is much, much greater. And fast forward a little bit more, what we'd be looking for is to have the faces animated. I mean, you've probably seen the videos on YouTube and TikTok of the Sora videos. They look lifelike. They've got videos of like long deceased people in WWE wrestling rings, and you can't tell it's fake. It's amazing. Two packs in the wrestling ring.
With Ben Franklin, you're like, what's going on? Is his gout healed?
This is it. This is it. So, but the idea would be is, okay, that's all very fun, but you can't really use it for business. But the idea is you'll be able to marry up the technology of real-time video generation with the back-end knowledge to produce a photorealistic person whose face animates and responds emotionally. Because one of the things we know is that people respond more to storytelling, and it's how you make them feel with e-learning and face-to-face learning, more so than the knowledge itself, because people will feel a certain way, and then that feeling will attach itself to some learning. In the same way that if you smell like baked bread, it might take you back to when you were younger. It's that kind of thing. So that's what we're looking for, is we want that emotional connection, so people feel like, oh, okay, I actually was invested in that, and the person I was responding to, if you was a simulation, for example, and you're making a bad decision, that avatar can respond in a panicked way, but it's okay because it's in a safe space, it's real. So that's kind of what we're looking at next, is these NPCs to be able to be subject matter experts, but responding in a realistic way that looks realistic on the screen, responding in real time.
It's so amazing, this whole challenge, and as Theo was mentioning about thinking like a marketer, everything that you're seeing, I can see the pieces of the puzzle coming together, and I can also see the challenge for us as learning designers, right, Theo? That if we don't respond in this way, our learners are going to shut down because we're not giving them what they're accustomed to. If they get to a page turn e-learning on a sensitive topic, they're just gonna put it on mute, wait till the next button comes up. Fair enough?
Completed.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Okay, listen, I know you two, based on our time of day, I know it's number one, it's the nighttime for Theo over in Cyprus. Paul, it is Friday. You're probably ready for a great weekend. I'm over here in Phoenix, so I've got to get ready for a great work day here. I just want to thank you, both of you, for a fantastic conversation. Will you both promise to come back for a future focus episode here in the near future?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, thank you. Cool. Well, for serious though, it's clear that AI, it's not just a tool. It's catalyst for rethinking how we learn, how we design, and how we lead. Now, to our listeners, if you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe to Performance Matters on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your preferred platform. And stay tuned for more future focus episodes where we'll continue exploring the trends shaping the future of L&D. Until next time, keep learning, keep leading, and keep asking the big questions.